1946, no mint mark Jefferson Nickel value. 5,700, the 1946 Jefferson Nickel without. A mint mark is a remarkable piece of American numismatic history that continues to fascinate collectors worldwide. At first glance, it might appear to be just another small 5-cent coin made for everyday transactions. Yet beneath its surface lies an intriguing story of history, design, composition, rarity, and collector demand. Produced in the immediate aftermath of World War II, this coin carries not only monetary value, but also a symbolic reminder of America's resilience and transition into a new economic era. Its estimated market value of $5,700 in pristine condition demonstrates just how much collectors treasure this specific issue, particularly when it comes without a mint mark. The Jefferson Nickel series itself was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel after a 25-year run. Sculptor Felix Schlag was the artist responsible for the design, and his work remains iconic even today. On the obverse side of the coin, Schlag created a bust of Thomas Jefferson facing left, his stern yet thoughtful expression representing both dignity and leadership. Behind him, the word "In God We Trust" appears along the left rim, while the word "Liberty" and the year of mintage, 1946, stretch along the right side. This familiar portrait was not only an artistic success, but also a patriotic statement that reinforced America's identity during a time of rebuilding after the war. The reverse design features Jefferson's home, Monticello, a neoclassical masterpiece in Charlottesville, Virginia. The building's balanced lines and dome symbolize stability and enlightenment, echoing Jefferson's philosophical contributions to the nation. Above Monticello rests the word "e pluribus unum," meaning "out of many," while the bottom edge reads 5 cents and United States of America. Now, what makes the 1946 no-mint mark nickel unique? During this period, coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint did not carry a mint mark, unlike those from Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. In earlier wartime nickels from 1942 to 1945, large mint marks were placed above Monticello's dome, but by 1946, the composition returned to the standard copper-nickel blend, and the large mint marks were removed. This means that Philadelphia minted coins from 1946 onward were produced without any identifying letter. For collectors, the absence of a mint mark on a 1946 Jefferson nickel immediately reveals its origin from Philadelphia. However, only a fraction of these coins have survived in exceptional, uncirculated condition, making them highly desirable to numismatists. Another key aspect of the 1946 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel is its composition. Unlike the wartime nickels, which used an alloy of copper, silver, and manganese to conserve nickel for military use, the 1946 issue returned to the traditional 75% copper and 25% nickel composition. This change not only signaled the end of the wartime coinage experiment, but also restored a sense of normalcy to U.S. coinage. However, the transition meant that fewer high-quality strikes were achieved because nickel is harder than silver, making sharp detail more difficult to capture. As a result, well-preserved examples are extremely scarce, further enhancing their value. When assessing a 1946 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel, collectors carefully examine several factors. First is the grade, which refers to the condition of the coin. Coins graded by professional services such as PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, often fetch the highest prices. A coin in circulated condition may only be worth a few dollars, but one in mint state 67 or higher can command thousands, reaching the $5,700 mark or beyond. Second is the presence of full steps, FS, on the Monticello design. Collectors value coins where the steps leading up to Jefferson's home are fully visible without breaks or wear. This small detail dramatically increases the value, as most coins show weak strikes in this area. For collectors or enthusiasts trying to identify and verify a 1946 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel, a careful checking process is essential. Begin by examining the coin's obverse under magnification. Look closely at Jefferson's cheekbone, jawline, and hair, as these are high points most prone to wear. A coin showing minimal flattening in these areas suggests better preservation. On the reverse, focus on the Monticello steps. If they appear sharp and uninterrupted, the coin may qualify for the full steps designation. Additionally, ensure there are no signs of tampering or artificial alterations, such as added polish or smoothing that could reduce authenticity. Always cross-reference with official grading standards and, when in doubt, seek certification from a trusted grading company. Proper storage of a valuable 1946 no mint marked Jefferson Nickel is equally crucial to preserving its worth. Coins should never be cleaned with abrasive materials or household cleaners, as this can cause irreversible scratches and reduce value significantly. Instead, store the coin in an inert plastic holder, such as a mylar flip or a hard plastic capsule, which protects it from air, moisture, and accidental damage. For long-term storage, consider placing the coin in an acid-free album or a temperature-controlled safe to prevent oxidation or discoloration. Serious collectors often use silica gel packs in storage boxes to absorb moisture and keep coins in pristine condition. By following these practices, the nickel's luster and fine details can remain intact for generations. The rarity of the 1946 no-mint mark Jefferson Nickel lies not only in its age, but also in the historical narrative it represents. Emerging from the shadow of World War II, it embodies the nation's return to stability while capturing Jefferson's enduring legacy. Its value of $5,700 reflects the growing interest in mid-20th century coinage and the continued demand for top-grade examples with clear details. For everyday people, discovering such a coin in pocket change might seem impossible, yet stories exist of collectors stumbling across valuable specimens in old jars, inherited collections, or even thrift store finds. That sense of possibility fuels the excitement surrounding coins like this one. Ultimately, the 1946 no-mint mark Jefferson Nickel is far more than just a piece of metal. It is a tangible connection to America's past, a symbol of resilience, and a work of art that bridges history with numismatic passion. Whether displayed in a collection, passed down as a family treasure, or auctioned for thousands of dollars, it remains a reminder that sometimes the smallest objects carry the greatest stories. For collectors and enthusiasts alike, holding such a coin is holding a fragment of history, one that continues to inspire curiosity and admiration more than 7 decades after it was minted. Next up, 1953 no mint, mark Jefferson Nickel, value $5,300, the 1953 Jefferson Nickel without. A mint mark has earned its place as one of the most respected pieces in American numismatic circles. Unlike other dates in the Jefferson Nickel series, the 1953 issue stands out for its scarcity and high grades and its strong demand among collectors who appreciate its historical importance and rarity. Produced at the Philadelphia Mint, this coin carried no identifying mint mark, which has made it a distinctive treasure for those who carefully search old change jars, inherited collections, or even long-forgotten rolls from mid-century banks. Today, the coin in immaculate condition can reach a market value of $5,300, making it a hidden gem for the lucky individual who discovers one in near-perfect preservation. The story of this nickel begins in the early 1950s, a period marked by dramatic changes across the United States. Post-war prosperity was reshaping the nation's economy, technology was advancing, and consumerism was rapidly spreading. Coins from this period reflect more than just currency. They mirror the growth of an entire nation. The 1953 Jefferson Nickel, struck at Philadelphia, represented stability at a time when Americans were learning to live in a new world shaped by global power and domestic abundance. While millions were minted for daily use, most circulated heavily, leaving only a small percentage that survived in pristine, untouched states. This is one of the main reasons why the 1953 no mint mark example has achieved such a notable value among serious collectors. One fascinating aspect of the 1953 issue lies in its striking quality. The Philadelphia Mint that year was notorious for producing coins with weak strikes, especially in areas where sharp detail would normally be expected. The metal mix often produced surfaces that lacked brilliance, making fully lustrous examples quite rare. Because of this, finding a coin that has been carefully preserved without scratches, discoloration, or handling marks is exceptionally difficult. Collectors who specialize in Jefferson Nickels understand this rarity. and it is precisely why the 1953 no-mint mark nickel commands prices as high as $5,300 when certified in top conditions by professional grading services. Another layer of intrigue surrounding this coin comes from the occasional appearance of minting errors. During 1953, quality control at the Philadelphia Mint was inconsistent, and a number of unusual variations slipped through the presses. Some examples feature die cracks, where small lines appear due to breaks in the striking die, while others show off-center strikes that slightly shift the design. Although errors were not produced in massive numbers, the ones that do exist increase collector demand considerably, with error examples sometimes fetching even more than standard mint state coins. For numismatists, hunting down these rare variations adds excitement to the journey of studying this particular year. When it comes to verifying a 1953 no-mint mark Jefferson Nickel, collectors rely on a meticulous inspection process. Because many coins from the early 1950s have worn surfaces, identifying a truly valuable piece requires careful observation under proper lighting and magnification. The first step is to check the luster of the coin. A genuine mint state example will show cartwheel-like reflections when tilted under a light, while circulated coins will appear dull and flat. Next, attention should be paid to the high points most prone to wear, as even the slightest flattening can dramatically reduce value. Another essential factor is spotting contact marks, which are tiny dings caused by coins hitting each other during transport. While some minor marks are inevitable, fewer marks in prominent areas significantly increase desirability. For anyone uncertain about their coin's condition, sending it to a grading authority such as PCGS or NGC provides professional authentication, protection, and a certified grade that can transform a simple nickel into a verified asset worth thousands. Equally important to collectors is the coin's provenance, its history of ownership, and how it has been stored over the decades. Many coins from 1953 spent years in bankrolls, dresser drawers, or family collections. Those fortunate enough to have been tucked away in a controlled environment emerged decades later with surfaces untouched by the effects of moisture or human handling. Because original storage plays such a major role in determining final grade, numismatists always emphasize proper preservation for modern owners who wish to safeguard their investment. To store a 1953 no-mint mark Jefferson Nickel properly, collectors employ specialized methods that prevent environmental damage. The most effective way is to place the coin in an airtight capsule or slab that completely seals it from exposure to air, oils, and dust. Unlike softer flips or cardboard holders, airtight enclosures reduce the risk of toning, corrosion, or spotting. For those storing multiple coins, archival quality storage boxes lined with inert materials are ideal. Maintaining coins in a stable, moderate temperature environment, away from humidity and direct sunlight, further protects their surfaces. Collectors often avoid handling such valuable nickels with bare hands, instead using cotton gloves or soft-tipped tweezers to eliminate the possibility of skin oils leaving marks. These protective habits are crucial for preserving the value of rare coins like the 1953 nickel. The appeal of this coin is not solely based on rarity, but also on its position within the broader Jefferson Nickel series. Collectors who attempt to assemble a complete set of nickels spanning from 1938 onward quickly realize that certain dates present greater challenges than others. The 1953 Philadelphia issue is one of those challenges, especially when seeking higher mint state grades. The absence of a mint mark places all attention on the quality of preservation, and for that reason, this coin has become a keystone for serious Jefferson Nickel enthusiasts. Adding to its appeal is the market performance of such coins at auction. Stories frequently emerge of coins originally purchased for a few cents decades ago, later selling for thousands at prestigious numismatic events. In one case, a perfectly preserved 1953 no-mint mark nickel certified at the highest level drew competitive bidding and sold well beyond its estimated value. This trend reflects the growing recognition that mid-20th century coinage, long overlooked in favor of earlier classics, now holds significant financial potential. As collectors look beyond silver and gold issues, rare nickels like this one gain more attention. In truth, The 1953 no-mint mark Jefferson Nickel embodies a fascinating paradox. On one hand, it was struck in vast numbers and intended for everyday transactions at grocery stores, gas stations, and diners. On the other hand, only a minuscule fraction survived in the untouched condition that attracts today's top collectors. This contrast between ordinary origin and extraordinary survival is what fuels the coin's enduring charm. Its $5,300 market value is a testament to how the passage of time, combined with human preservation, can elevate an everyday object into a highly desirable collectible. For anyone interested in numismatics, owning such a coin is more than just a financial investment. It is a chance to hold a physical piece of history from the 1950s, a decade that set the stage for modern America. Each 1953 nickel without a mint mark carries with it a journey from the minting press in Philadelphia, through decades of circulation or safekeeping, to the present moment when it may rest in the hands of a passionate collector. Its rarity, value, and connection to the past make it not only a prized possession, but also a source of inspiration for future generations who may continue the tradition of collecting and studying America's coinage. Next up, 1959, no mint mark Jefferson Nickel, value. 5,000. The 1959 Jefferson Nickel without a mint mark has quietly become one of the most intriguing treasures of mid-century American coinage. At first glance, it might appear to be nothing more than a small 5-cent piece from ordinary circulation. Yet numismatists know that this issue carries a reputation for scarcity in high grades and an impressive market value of $5,000 when preserved in top condition. Produced by the Philadelphia Mint during a time of economic optimism, this nickel represents far more than a unit of currency. It reflects a cultural era, a numismatic challenge, and a financial opportunity for those who understand its true worth. The late 1950s were years of remarkable growth and transformation in the United States. Following the post-war boom, families were moving into new suburbs, automobiles were becoming an essential part of everyday life, and American industries were thriving. Against this backdrop of prosperity, the nation's coinage was produced in huge numbers to support expanding commerce. The 1959 Jefferson Nickel was struck in Philadelphia without a mint mark, but despite millions being made, finding an example today that meets the standards of serious collectors is astonishingly difficult. This rarity in top condition has given the coin its enviable status among Jefferson Nickel enthusiasts. 1. Of the primary reasons why the 1959 no mint mark nickel is so valuable lies in its quality of strike. The Philadelphia Mint at the time had persistent issues with coin detail due to die wear and insufficient striking pressure. Many coins left the presses with soft, blurry details that quickly became worse once they entered circulation. Over the decades, circulation wear compounded the problem, erasing much of the sharpness that collectors seek. As a result, only a tiny percentage of these nickels remain in pristine, uncirculated condition. When such a specimen is found, it can achieve remarkable prices, with the highest graded examples climbing toward the $5,000 mark. Adding to the intrigue are the occasional error varieties that emerged during this year's production. The Philadelphia Mint's vast output meant that mistakes sometimes slipped through unnoticed. Collectors occasionally encounter coins with die clashes, where parts of the design from one side were accidentally imprinted onto the opposite die, leaving ghost-like impressions. Others reveal doubled lettering or numbers caused by slight shifts in the die during preparation. These error nickels are far rarer than standard strikes and often become highlights of advanced collections. Their existence only fuels the fascination surrounding the 1959 no mint mark nickel, as each unusual piece tells a story of the minting process itself. Checking the authenticity and value of a 1959 no mint mark Jefferson Nickel requires patience and precision. The first step is to inspect the coin's surfaces under strong, even lighting. A genuine high-value example will display a uniform, natural texture, free from evidence of cleaning or polishing. Artificially brightened coins may shine unnaturally, which actually lowers their desirability. Next, collectors evaluate the coin's luster, looking for the distinctive cartwheel effect that occurs when light moves across an untouched mint surface. Careful attention is also paid to areas most prone to wear. Any hint of flattening can drastically reduce value. Additionally, professionals examine the edges for any irregularities, as genuine coins have consistent rims without unusual flattening or cuts. For serious collectors, professional grading remains the most reliable method of confirming value. Submitting a 1959 nickel to trusted services such as PCGS or NGC not only guarantees authenticity, but also assigns a numerical grade based on strict standards. Coins certified as Mint State 66 or higher are exceptionally rare, and those approaching the top grade can justify prices of several $1,000s. A coin in circulated condition might only bring a modest amount, but once encased in a protective holder with a high grade, its value skyrockets. This reliance on professional grading has transformed the way collectors pursue Jefferson Nickels, especially challenging issues like the 1959 no mint mark. Another factor influencing value is the coin's journey through time. While many examples circulated through diners, grocery stores, and gas stations of the late 1950s, some were preserved by chance. Families sometimes placed new coins into jars or savings boxes, not realizing they were safeguarding future rarities. Other nickels were tucked away in original mint rolls, stored for decades in bank vaults or private collections. When these untouched rolls resurface, they occasionally yield coins of extraordinary quality that collectors eagerly compete to acquire. The history of where a coin has been and how it has been kept plays a significant role in determining whether it is an ordinary piece of pocket change or a rare treasure worth thousands. Preserving a valuable 1959 Jefferson Nickel requires special care to ensure it retains its condition. Collectors often choose to house such coins in archival-grade coin albums designed specifically for nickels. These albums use acid-free materials that do not react with the metal, preventing discoloration over time. Unlike hard plastic capsules, albums allow for organized display, which is appealing to collectors who enjoy presenting their sets. However, careful handling is essential. Coins should never be touched with bare fingers. Cotton gloves are recommended to prevent oils from skin damaging the surface. Keeping albums in a cool, dry environment away from humidity and temperature swings helps safeguard the coin's luster and integrity for future generations. By using this method, collectors can both enjoy and protect their investment. The 1959 no mint mark Jefferson Nickel also holds an important place within the broader collecting community. Many enthusiasts attempt to assemble complete runs of Jefferson Nickels, spanning from the series' introduction in the late 1930s all the way through more recent years. Within such sets, the 1959 Philadelphia issue often becomes a stumbling block, especially for collectors seeking only the highest quality examples. This scarcity elevates its reputation and creates a sense of achievement for anyone able to secure one. Completing a set that includes this challenging date brings not only personal satisfaction, but also increased value when sold as a complete collection. Market trends show steady interest in Jefferson Nickels, particularly for dates like 1959, where supply of top-grade pieces is so limited. Auction results demonstrate that collectors are willing to pay significant premiums for certified examples, and the price trajectory has consistently moved upward as more people recognize the series' importance. While older American coinage like silver dollars and early cents have long commanded attention, mid-century issues are now stepping into the spotlight. The 1959 nickel has become a perfect example of how overlooked coins from the past can transform into sought-after collectibles with surprising financial rewards. Beyond the numbers and grading scales, the true appeal of this nickel lies in the sense of discovery it inspires. Imagine finding one in an old collection box or receiving it as part of inherited change. What seems like an ordinary 5-cent piece suddenly reveals itself as a valuable artifact worth thousands. This feeling of hidden treasure is what drives so many people toward coin collecting. Every coin has a story, and in the case of the 1959 no mint mark Jefferson Nickel, that story includes decades of circulation, scarcity of preservation, and recognition in today's market as a highly prized rarity. Ultimately, the 1959 no mint mark Jefferson Nickel is much more than its face value. It is a reminder that history often hides in plain sight, waiting to be recognized by those who look closely. With a market value of up to $5,000, it stands as proof that even the smallest and most common-seeming objects can achieve extraordinary significance through time, rarity, and human appreciation. For collectors, owning such a coin is both a financial asset and a personal connection to America's past. Whether resting safely in an album, showcased in a collection, or passed down as a family heirloom, this nickel tells a story that will continue to resonate for generations to come. Next up, 1963. No mint. Mark Jefferson Nickel. Value $4,000. The 1963 Jefferson Nickel without a mint mark may not immediately stand out to the casual observer, but in the world of numismatics, it has become an impressive and highly desirable treasure. Produced by the Philadelphia Mint in the early 1960s, this coin now carries a market value of up to $4,000 in pristine, uncirculated condition. While it once passed through millions of hands in everyday commerce, only a scarce fraction of examples have survived in exceptional states, making it one of the more challenging mid-century nickels to secure for collectors pursuing quality. The early 1960s were a turning point in American history. The nation was entering an era of new technology, cultural change, and global influence. Coinage from this time reflected the stability of the U.S. economy, yet hidden within the production runs were pieces that would later emerge as prized rarities. The 1963 no mint mark nickel embodies this dual character. It was struck for routine transactions, yet it eventually became an unexpected collectible with significant financial value. Collectors now view it not only as a monetary artifact, but also as a relic that captures the mood of pre-1964 America, just before sweeping changes transformed the nation's coinage system. One of the defining challenges with this issue is quality preservation. Coins minted in Philadelphia during this year often suffered from weak strikes, uneven surfaces, and immediate wear once they entered circulation. Since nickels were heavily used for everyday purchases, everything from a cup of coffee to bus fares, most were quickly worn down. This left few survivors with sharp details and intact luster. The limited number of coins that were either saved immediately or stored away in protective rolls became the basis of today's valuable specimens. A 1963 nickel without a mint mark that has never been handled, scratched, or dulled by circulation can now command prices that astonish those unfamiliar with numismatics. Another reason behind its high value is the presence of minting anomalies. During 1963, production pressure at the Philadelphia Mint was intense, as demand for coinage was growing rapidly. This environment allowed errors to occasionally escape detection. Collectors have discovered examples with doubled numbers in the date, die breaks that leave raised lines across the surface, or plancher flaws that create unusual textures. These error varieties are extremely rare and can sometimes exceed the value of even the finest standard examples. For many numismatists, the thrill of searching for one of these anomalies is part of the ongoing fascination with the 1963 no mint mark nickel. To properly check a 1963 nickel for authenticity and potential value, collectors follow a step-by-step inspection process. The first step involves studying the surface luster under direct but soft lighting. Genuine mint-state nickels display a natural cartwheel shine that cannot be replicated by artificial cleaning. Any unusual shine or polish is a red flag, as cleaned coins lose significant value. The next step is to examine the high points of the coin for any signs of wear. Small patches of dullness or flatness often mean the coin circulated, reducing its desirability. Collectors also evaluate contact marks, tiny nicks or scratches caused by coins hitting each other. While minor marks are acceptable, too many in key areas can prevent a coin from reaching higher grades. Finally, measuring the weight and diameter ensures the coin was not altered or tampered with, as genuine 1963 nickels conform to strict specifications. Grading is an essential aspect of confirming a coin's true value. The difference between a coin valued at a few dollars and one worth thousands lies almost entirely in condition. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC provide authentication and assign a precise numerical grade. For a 1963 nickel, the most coveted examples fall into the Mint State 66 and Mint State 67 categories, with the rarest survivors occasionally achieving even higher designations. Such top-graded coins are almost flawless, showing sharp detail, original luster, and minimal marks. It is these elite examples that justify the $4,000 price tag and often attract competitive bidding at major auctions. Another factor that plays into the coin story is how it has been stored across 6 decades. Many examples from 1963 were kept in rolls or jars by chance, perhaps set aside by families or collectors who had an instinct to save coins from certain years. These original rolls sometimes emerge from estates or forgotten bank vaults, yielding coins with surfaces untouched by circulation. In contrast, the vast majority of 1963 nickels endured decades of heavy use, leaving them scarred, worn, and worth only face value. This divide between ordinary survivors and untouched gems explains why the best examples are so rare and highly sought after. Preserving a 1963 no mint mark. Jefferson nickel today requires careful attention. Unlike earlier examples stored in capsules or albums, many collectors choose to secure this coin in slabbed holders provided by grading companies. These hard plastic holders are tamper-proof and provide the ultimate level of protection against handling, moisture, and environmental changes. Once sealed, the coin remains safeguarded, while its grade and certification are permanently recorded. Collectors value this not only for protection but also for liquidity, as slabbed coins are easier to buy and sell with confidence. For additional safety, many keep their slabbed coins in fireproof safes or safety deposit boxes, ensuring that their investment remains untouched by accidents or natural disasters. This modern method of preservation guarantees that the coin's condition remains frozen in time. The 1963 no mint mark. Jefferson Nickel has also gained attention for its position within the broader collecting community. Enthusiasts working to complete a full set of Jefferson Nickels often discover that 1963 is a particularly challenging year to find in high grade. Its absence from a collection creates a noticeable gap, and filling that gap with a certified gem is a moment of pride for any numismatist. The coin's reputation as a difficult acquisition adds prestige to those who manage to secure it, increasing both its personal and financial value. Auction history demonstrates the demand for this issue. Over the past 2 decades, sales records have shown consistent increases in price for top-graded 1963 no mint mark nickels. Collectors continue to pay premiums far above guidebook estimates when extraordinary examples appear on the market. In some cases, coins saved in their original mint packaging have fetched record-breaking sums. These results highlight a broader trend in numismatics. The recognition that mid-20th century coins, once overlooked as too common, are in fact far rarer in top grades than many earlier series. Beyond the numbers, what truly fascinates collectors is the sense of discovery. A coin as ordinary as a nickel, minted in the millions during a time when few gave it a second thought, has now transformed into an object of serious study and admiration. Finding one in superb condition is like unearthing a piece of hidden treasure, something small, unexpected, yet profoundly rewarding. The 1963 no mint mark Jefferson Nickel embodies this excitement, reminding us that value is not only about rarity, but also about recognition of what has survived against the odds. In the end, the 1963 no mint mark Jefferson Nickel stands as a remarkable example of how ordinary objects can become extraordinary collectibles. With a market value of $4,000, it demonstrates the powerful combination of scarcity, preservation, and historical context. For collectors, it is both a financial prize and a tangible link to America's past. Whether housed in a slab, displayed proudly in a collection, or passed down as a family heirloom, this nickel tells a story that extends far beyond its 5-cent face value. It is proof that even the smallest pieces of change can hold immense cultural and economic importance, carrying with them the stories of generations who used them, saved them, and ultimately treasured them. Next up, 1968 with D-Mint mark Jefferson Nickel, market value. 3,700. The year 1968 introduced a very fascinating chapter in the long journey of the Jefferson Nickel, especially the one struck with the D-Mint mark, representing the Denver Mint. At first glance, many people might assume that coins minted in the late 1960s are too modern to carry any special value, but numismatics often surprises even the most careful observers. This particular issue, the 1968 D. Jefferson Nickel, holds a market value of $3,700, making it a highly desirable treasure for coin collectors around the globe. The worth of this coin is not tied to its face value or composition, but rather to the scarcity of high-quality preserved examples. The quirks of its production and the rising demand among enthusiasts who appreciate its unique backstory. Unlike many earlier Jefferson Nickels, the 1968 D is not celebrated for widespread errors or dramatic production accidents, but rather for its rarity and pristine condition. After decades in circulation, most pieces were worn down, used heavily in everyday transactions, or lost entirely. Very few survived with original mint luster and minimal contact marks, and it is these rare survivors that command thousands of dollars in today's numismatic market. For collectors, finding one in superb condition can feel like uncovering buried treasure in the most unexpected of places. One of the first steps for anyone who comes across a 1968 Jefferson Nickel is to carefully check the coin for its D mint mark, which is the small but significant detail that sets it apart. Located just to the right of the coin's central portrait, this mint mark confirms its origin at the Denver facility. When examining a coin like this, collectors rely on magnification tools, such as a jeweler's loupe, to make sure the mint mark is clearly visible and authentic. A counterfeit or altered mint mark can significantly reduce the coin's value, so attention to fine details is crucial. The importance of careful examination cannot be overstated. One tiny difference in condition, strike, or authenticity can mean the difference between an ordinary nickel and one worth thousands of dollars. Beyond simply identifying the coin, the condition or grade is what elevates its market value into the thousands. Grading involves assessing the sharpness of details, the brilliance of the surface, and the presence of any scratches or blemishes. Coins that have been graded and certified by professional bodies like NGC or PCGS hold the greatest credibility in the marketplace. For example, a 1968 D. Jefferson Nickel in low circulated condition might only be worth a few cents, but if it reaches a mint state grade of MS66 or higher, its value skyrockets. Collectors know that the higher the grade, the fewer such coins exist, and rarity drives demand. Proper storage plays an equally important role in preserving a coin's long-term value. A 1968 D nickel that has survived decades without major wear should never be exposed to further environmental risks. Collectors use protective holders, such as airtight capsules, mylar flips, or archival quality coin albums to prevent damage from air, moisture, or human handling. Unlike ordinary storage, numismatic storage solutions are designed specifically to safeguard coins from tarnish, corrosion, and accidental scratches. Another common mistake beginners make is cleaning their coins in hopes of making them shine. However, in numismatics, cleaning often causes microscopic abrasions that destroy the coin's natural patina and drastically lower its market value. The rule is simple. Never clean a coin, no matter how dull it appears. Its originality is far more valuable than artificial shine. Rarity also extends beyond condition and survival rate. It is influenced by the historical context in which the coin was minted. The late 1960s was a turbulent era in American history, with economic changes, social unrest, and evolving minting technologies. Coins from this period often reflect these transitions. In 1968, the U.S. Mint resumed the use of mint marks after a temporary suspension during the mid-1960s. For the Jefferson Nickel, this meant that collectors once again could trace coins to specific minting facilities. The D mint mark therefore carries symbolic weight, representing not just a geographical origin, but also a turning point in U.S. coinage policies. For collectors, such historical layers enhance the emotional and cultural value of the piece. When it comes to building a collection, the 1968 D. Jefferson Nickel is often sought after by those aiming to assemble a complete set of Jefferson Nickels spanning every year and mint mark. Completing such a set is no small feat, as it requires dedication, knowledge, and sometimes considerable expense. The 1968 D, valued at $3,700 in higher grades, becomes one of the cornerstone challenges for serious collectors. Its presence in a collection signifies not just wealth, but also deep commitment to numismatics. Checking the authenticity of a coin is another skill every collector must develop. Aside from examining the mint mark, weight and diameter can also confirm authenticity. Genuine 1968 Jefferson Nickels have a very precise weight and measurement. Deviations may indicate counterfeits or alterations. A sensitive digital scale and caliper are often used in this process. Sound tests, gently tapping the coin to hear its ring, are also sometimes employed by experts, though such methods require a trained ear. Technology has made verification easier, with advanced microscopes and even X-ray fluorescence tools available to professionals. But the principles remain rooted in careful observation and patience. Market value for the 1968 D Jefferson Nickel continues to be influenced by collector demand, auction results, and the discovery of rare high-grade examples. While the listed value of $3,700 may represent one of the higher ends, prices can fluctuate depending on grade and bidding wars among collectors. Online auction platforms, coin shows, and dealer networks provide the stage where these nickels change hands, and each sale contributes to the living history of numismatics. For some, the thrill is not only in owning the coin, but also in the chase, the journey of searching through rolls of nickels, estate sales, and old collections to stumble upon that one elusive piece. Interestingly, many stories exist of ordinary people who found valuable nickels tucked away in jars, drawers, or inherited collections, unaware of their true worth. These tales fuel the dream that anyone, even without prior numismatic knowledge, could one day discover a fortune hidden in pocket change. The 1968 D Jefferson Nickel, with its market value of $3,700, embodies this dream, reminding collectors and non-collectors alike that small details in everyday objects can hold extraordinary value. In conclusion, the 1968 D Jefferson Nickel is more than just a coin. It is a tangible connection to American history, a symbol of rarity born from ordinary circulation, and a challenge for collectors seeking completeness in their sets. Its worth of $3,700 is not only monetary but also cultural, reflecting the dedication and passion of those who preserve these small yet powerful artifacts. Whether discovered by chance or acquired through diligent searching, this nickel represents the essence of numismatics: patience, knowledge, and the joy of uncovering hidden treasures.